Hey, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and volleyball fans alike. We're here on the campus of UNLV in the Student Health and Wellness Recreation Center, right down the street from the MGM Grand, here on day number 2 of the NVA Pro Volleyball Showcase. I'm here with my co-hosts.
All right, ladies
the host
and
of hosts, Dalton Ammerman, helping me call today's matches. We've got match number 1 of day 2 about ready to go. We'll be holding for National Anthem. But match number 1 of our day features Blizzard from Southern California and Lake Forest.
And out of Southern California,
and the Chesapeake Rising Tide representing the Chesapeake, Washington, D.C. area. MC host and PA McKay Smith calling it courtside here in the venue, and we're about to go to the national anthem. So we'll be pausing again, as I said, for our national anthem. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Once again, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, here with Dalton Ammerman courtside for our NVA Pro Volleyball Showcase. That's right, professional volleyball in the USA. Here in the great state of Nevada, we're right down the street from the MGM Grand, who played awesome hosts to our event this week. And Dalton Ammerman and I are kicking it courtside to see some excellent volleyball be played here on day number 2. We had a great first day, don't you think, Dalton?
Oh, man. Yesterday was just completely action-packed, a lot of high-level volleyball. We can only expect to see even better volleyball today.
Oh, no doubt. We've got our group standings here up on the for the pools, and as you see, Academy United 2-0 in Pool A after the big win over Pineapple last night to close out our day, and Pineapple going to 1-1 along with LVC. That's Legion Volleyball Club representing the Albany, New York area, and Sizzle 0-2, the Arizona Sizzle.
A 6'1" outside hitter.
We're meeting our starters here in match number 1 in day 2 for the Rising Tide. You have the Libero number 2, Armin Zakarian from UC Santa Barbara. Also back in the lineup, number 4, Isaac Newball is seeing his first play from Cal State Northridge, former national team member. You have the opposite, a 6'8" opposite from UC Santa Barbara. Yet another Gaucho, number 12, Cullen Irons. Also coming out, 6'5" middle blocker from the Ohio State University, number 14, Mike Stewart. And in the lineup for the first time from Long Beach State University, another 49er, 6'4", from Laguna Niguel, that's number 19, Bryce Yuld. And the center team captain stands at 6 from another Gaucho, played professionally in Germany and in Belgium, as well as France, number 8, Vinny Devaney.
And we got one more, excuse me.
And we've got an outside hitter wearing number 9, standing at 5'11", from the great city of Irvine. That's Irvine, California. That's number 9, Brandon Directo. Coach for the Chesapeake Rising Tide is Daniel Davidson from the University of Chicago. Now our meeting starters for Blizzard. First off the bench, 6'5", setter from Stanford, number 1, Cole Fears. And a 6'5" outside hitter, also a Stanford Cardinal, number 3, Stephen Irvin. At Libero, standing at 5'10", a banana slug from UC Santa Cruz, number 13, Jake Hurwitz. In In the middle, standing at 6'5", from San Clemente, California, number 16, Ian Castellana. Also, another great mascot, UC Irvine, an anteater, standing at 6'9", wearing number 20, Marty Ross. And an opposite, 6'8", from Cal Baptist and Norco, California, number 30, Johannes Brink.
Number 6, Paul Lockman.
And in the other outside hitter position, for the first time on the court, another Beachy in the house. That's former national team member and AVP pro volleyball player, number 6, Paul Lottman. So what are we expecting to see today, Dalton?
Well, we got two solid squads that played really good yesterday. Looking at the Rising Tide first, leading their way is Vinny Devaney at the setter position. Coming from Santa Barbara, he also played with their opposite, Colin Irons. And also the libero also played at UC Santa Barbara. 3 gauchos in the starting lineup for the Rising Tide today. And then coming on the court, we're going to looking for a live arm from the middle, Bryce Ewell, the standout middle from Long Beach State, who just graduated last year.
As far as the Blizzard, we've got 2 anteaters in the lineup. UC Irvine middles of Marty Ross, who actually came over from Pacific after they disbanded their program, and Ian Castellana, 4-year letter winner for UC Irvine. But this is the big one for Blizzard, and of course, he's one of your favorites, I'm sure, because he's from Long Beach State, and that would be Paul Lottman, and that's a big cannon at the pin.
That's right.
And then, yes, can't overlook the play of Johannes Brink yesterday as well, so you got to watch out for him. First serve in the net by Stephen Irvin, starting it off for Blizzard. We're expecting to see some pretty heavy hit balls here between both these squads, as Colin Irons on Rising Tide has been swinging away, just letting it go. I guess you could say it's off the chain.
Off the chain is right, Rob.
We're getting our urbanisms in here. Service into the net for a point going to Blizzard.
Back serves in the net.
As host, McKay Smith said, back-to-back service errors. Morning jitters, perhaps. Marty Ross with a float serve. Devaney sets the middle of Ewell, and it's a great stat. Ewell is such a high flyer, but, you know, people have said that he's an undersized middle, but he's such a quality jumper.
He is very undersized for a middle these days. Usually middles are 6'7" or above, but with how quick his arm speed is, it's real tough to touch him, and he's also a very solid blocker at the net as well.
Off the block, Paul Lottman. All the new guys are already getting their first kills right off the plane, onto the court, and on the stat sheet.
That's right.
Cole Fears going back to serve, the former Stanford setter from Palos Verdes, California. Isaac Newble gets seen his first action as well for the Rising Tide. Irons gets a set outside the antenna, and it hits it into the antenna.
Fears back to the line.
Fears steps back to serve, up 3-2. The southpaw, passed by Armin Zakarian, now playing libero. And Irons gets his first kill of the morning.
From Devaney as Irons gets the kill.
Great back set by the team captain setter, Vinny Devaney. Big thanks to the Rising Tide guys for the lift over to the venue this morning. Uber, where were you? Service goes long by Ewell. Four serve to 3, Lottman back to serve. Lottman's a great addition to the Blizzard team, don't you think, Dalton?
Yeah, I mean, that's going to change their entire game. They already had two really big middles in their offense yesterday, but adding Paul Lottman is just bringing a whole nother level to their offense.
Ball's passed off net. Devaney with a high set to Directo. Directo abusing the inside of the block there, sneaking it inside Stephen Irvin. Don't know a whole lot about Brandon Directo except for that he's just a super good jumper and loves the game. 4 serving at 4 from Irvine, California. Played for Irvine Valley College, the Lasers. Lottman out of the back row trying to clean up, but it goes long as Rising Tide takes the lead.
5-4, Irons serve.
Colin Irons going back serve. Played in the 2011 Final Four with the Gauchos. Made that excellent run with Coach Rick McLaughlin. Stephen Irvin drills it down the line. Irons with a dig Directo, trying to save it. Goes left hand. Beach shot almost falls. It was a great try, though.
Despite a graceful attempt, Directo not able to get that ball over the net.
Ian Castellano serving a 6'5" middle from San Clemente. Got a front row of Johannes Brink, Marty Ross, and Steven Irvin on the other side. Isaac Newbold, his first attempt. Tip for kill. Always good for the dealers here in the casino.
Newbold with the shot. Directo.
Newbold
6'5".
gets the Rising Tide 6 point. At 6'5". Brandon Directo serving. On that replay, you see he just barely kept himself from going underneath the net, but it was a great and smart play since the set was inside the 10-foot line. Marty Ross with a blast, irons the dig, and he gets the fed right back. Irvin sets it out to Brink, who has to free ball it over. Directo steps in to take it. Devaney outside of Newbold. Newbold goes with the beach shot, but we get a Blizzard player in the net. 7-5, Rising Tide. Rising, or should I say rolling? Rolling waves, Rising Tide. Good jump serve by Directo. Fears sets out to Irvin. Irvin rolls it deep and long.
Swing for Irvin is long.
Right idea, but unfortunately not so great execution, being that it gives a Rising Tide their 8th point, and we go into our first technical timeout with the Rising Tide up. So, Dalton, what are you seeing so far here on the court?
Well, with it being the first match of the day, it's kind of early for these guys. You can see that they're trying to get into their rhythm for both teams. A couple missed serves from both sides of the net. Looks like some guys are trying to get their arms going a little bit, but I can assume that the level of the play is going to start to pick up here pretty soon.
Well, also the fact that they've got some new players on both squads right now. Two different teams that we saw on yesterday's web stream. Between Lotman over on the other side and, the new middles for Blizzard. And then on the Rising Tide, you have Isaac Newbold, Brandon Directo, and Bryce Ewald in the lineup. So that's almost half the lineup there.
That's right. Brandon Directo came in halfway through the day yesterday and ended up playing Rising Tide's second match and had a really big match and was a key player in their victory yesterday.
So our first referee is Dean Hoskin, and our second referee is Mr. Ron Stahl. Directo serving. Directo standing at about 6 foot, 5'11". Nails it long, but he's a phenomenal jumper. Seen him play in the previous pro leagues here. Or actually he's been playing around in the area in club tournaments. Devaney getting jiggy with it on the set, pops it out to Isaac Newbold. Newbold now 2 kills and 0 errors. That's a great addition for the Rising Tide. Newbold listed at 6'1", a former Matador, played professionally in Germany and had a stint with the USA men's national team. Serving it from the back is Stewart. Right side attack into the net.
Real nice move by Newbold to set up the block on the inside, feed him right into Bryce Ewald's arms.
What's interesting is so the Rising Tides lineup actually gets smaller with Newbold and Directo at the pins, because they had Jones yesterday, stands at 6'4".
With the on-speed shot, able to find
and their other outside for actually is Armin Zakarian, who is at 6'2". So they're opting to go smaller.
Yeah, but I think it's going to end up working out for them because Directo and Newbold both are pretty high flyers.
Jump serve, good pass by Zakarian. Ewald is super athletic. Enjoyed watching him play at Dana Hills High School in Dana Point, California. He is a former Dolphin, but definitely one of the standout players, and a great pickup by Coach Alan Knight of Long Beach State. Johannes Brink has free ball it over. Directo steps in. Devaney on the backs to Irons. Irons getting a little end line love there. And it's 12-7. We got a timeout by Coach John Shea of Blizzard. Let's talk about the play of Rising Tide here. It seems to be they're getting a good groove on her.
Yeah, it seems that their ball control is just really solid right now, keeping Vince Devaney in system. So he's able to run a pretty well-rounded offense right now. Expect to see a lot of middle attack from them. And then also Colin Irons had a pretty big second match yesterday. He wanted to make sure that he gives a shout out to his parents, Jerry and Renee Irons, and also Bert and Bridget Haley.
Oh, look, nice calling out. I think they were sending out links on the bus ride or the van ride over. I was crammed in with all the Rising Tide guys. Fun group there. And a good group of guys. Talked to Vinny the first day he arrived here. He's like, I had to ask him one of the deepest questions of the year. How many people call you my cousin Vinny? Yes, we are kind of dweebing out here.
What was the answer?
He said, I've heard it a lot.
Too many times to count.
12 serving to 7 out of the timeout. Having a good time here in Las Vegas, and the guys are enjoying being a part of this tournament. So spirits are high, and it's a good vibe. Cole Fears with a good set to the outside. Lotman's just a big banger, and Lotman, former AVCA Player of the Year. Oh, I hated playing against him.
Yeah, he was actually a walk-on at Long Beach State when he came in his freshman year and ended up becoming an All-American by his senior year.
I did not know that.
That's right.
Net violation.
Net violation by Blizzard.
Ian Castellana caught in the net. Taking responsibility. Point going to Rising Tide. 13 serve and 8. Isaac Newbold back to serve. Isaac Newbold from Maui, Hawaii. Gotta love when the Hawaiians bring their game over to the mainland. Service into the net for a point going to Blizzard. And it's 9 serving to 13 as Cole Fears steps back to serve. The 6'5" former Cardinal. Fears hybrids down the line. Pass by Zakarian. Devaney backs us to Iron. Popped off the shoulder of the Libero. As it's dug into play, the Banana Slug Libero records a kill. The Banana Slug Libero is Jake Hurwitz, who stepped in on the bomb by Colin Irons. Irons smiling across the net. It's like, man, I got a good swing at that. He just popped it off her shoulder. Devaney sets the middle, and Bryce Yule nails it. Picked up by Hurwitz, who's getting some good action here. Zakarian, hand pass. Back to Newbold, tips it. Hurwitz picks it up, bumps that out by Brink. Lotman with a roll, Zakarian with a dig. Devaney back to Irons, and Irons splits the seam. 14-10. Great defensive rally by both sides. Hurwitz showing that he's willing to take a few BBs as well.
That's right. After watching Kirk Francis play yesterday, I wasn't sure they were ever going to take him out after how many balls he dug. But it seems like he's able to hold his own out there as well.
That's right. Kirk Francis, if you guys missed the stream yesterday, was getting bombed on. It was nothing to him. And they were great digs, leading to great transition points for Blizzard as they took on Lights Out yesterday from Chicago, Illinois. Newbold with a pass tight on the net. Devaney grabs it. Directo hits it off the antenna. He caught that approach and jump by Directo there, Dalton, but I mean, he's a high flyer. Very similar to Taylor Crabb as far as the jumping.
That's right.
Server is Paul Lotman. Look for that jump serve. Wicked cross court pass by Zakarian. Bump set saved by Devaney outside to Directo. Directo bounces it off of Irvin. Free ball by Hurwitz. Newbold with a pass. And that would be Mike Stewart sneaking inside the block of Ian Castellana.
Castellana right there, but just not able to push his arms across the net in time to get that block.
You cannot even stress the importance of the penetration across the net on blocking, especially with guys playing at this level. Castellana with a big swing in the middle. Mike Stewart lined up correctly, but I think Castellana had the better angle on that. Going back to serve for Blizzard. It's Ian Castellana, played at UC Irvine. And Mike Stewart drills in the middle. Stewart stands at 6'5" from the Ohio State University. As he reach our second technical timeout, Rising Tide confidently up 16-13. They seem to be doing what they want to do.
Yeah, they're looking real steady out there. Not seeing too much from Blizzard just yet. It looks like they're still trying to get into the match. Someone needs to wake them up a little bit and see if their coach can give them the fire in this timeout right now.
Yeah, I agree. It's, you know, they're still moving a little slow, like a half step off. And defensively, you know, I think Jake Hurwitz has been really saving them, so to speak. You know, if it weren't for his pickups, I think they'd be in a lot worse off condition. But they're only down 3. So
yeah, there's still a lot of game left in this first set, so I wouldn't be too worried about it. I'm sure they're going to have some fight coming after this timeout.
Well, you know, Cullen Irons is quite the cannon for Rising Tide. And, you know, it's been great seeing him back on the court, especially after that run with him during his undergraduate career with the Gauchos. But he and Vinny Devaney are on the coaching staff at UCSB as they're getting ready to start the 2018 Big West Conference volleyball season. Brandon Directo back to serve, 16 serving a 13. Directo, the jump serve goes line pass by Irvin Fierce outside. Back to Irvin, who easily knocks it off the block of the drifting Mike Stewart. 14 looking at 16. Look at that big rip by Stephen Irvin. Irvin went to Loyola High School in Los Angeles, played for Mike Boley. Great coach. If not in LA, definitely in California. Isaac Newbold with a rip at the outside. 17-14.
First set, Newbold already hitting over 800 with 5 kills on 6 swings.
It's a good stat line for the former Matador. Hurwitz with a good pass. Irvin getting another swing. Devaney with a soft block, but playable by Stewart left back. Newbold with a tip. And like that, Newbold gets yet another kill on the unforced error.
I wasn't sure someone was going to be able to replace Matt Jones after his stellar performance yesterday in the match, but Newbold's doing quite the job.
Yeah, most definitely. He's stepped in past a bunch of balls and has wisely hit by the block and scorching in the middle is Marty Ross. Marty Ross, a transfer to UC Irvine from Pacific after the disbanding of that program. Joe Wortman was a coach back in the day, and yeah, he'd been coaching for close to 20 years in that Pacific program.
I was talking to some of the Blizzard players, and I guess they call him Marty the Moose Ross.
Moose Rocks, yes, Marty the Moose. 19 serving to 15, Vinny Devaney back to serve. Vinny also the team captain of the Rising Tide. Lotman with a good pass to Fears. They go back to Moose. Hand pass by Irvin, and Cole Fears shows that little southpaw slam on the second ball attack.
Very advantageous for setters to be left-handed because they can just turn that quick hit over on 2.
Yes, can you imagine having a guy like your brother, Ryan Ehrman, stands 6'8", but he was a righty, and he'd fooled me his entire career. I thought he was a good lefty. Devaney back to Newbold. Newbold with a good swing with like a one-step approach. Free ball coming by Irvin. Clears all the lights up top. Devaney sets right side of Newbold. Rolls it. Dug by Ross. Lotman tips. Dig by Devaney. Bump set by Zakarian. Irons takes a swing, but Castellana fears, and Lotman greet him with a triple stuff.
Marty Ross gracefully getting 2 digs for the team. 17-19.
17 serving 19. Look at this block, Dalton.
That set dying inside a little bit. Colin Irons didn't have too much room to go with that ball. Blizzard setting up that nice 3-man block to get the stop.
Newbold with a pass to Devaney, shoots at the Ewald, and Ewald is on fire. I'd like to see what's going on in his stat line there. That's his 3rd kill, and he's hitting 1,000. That's an immediate contribution right there.
That's right. He's going to be quite the force for this Rising Tide offense today.
Irvin with a quick set to Castellano, dug by Newbold, backs it by Devaney to Irons. Irons hits it high off Paul Lottman.
Great dig and high swing off the block for Irons.
If I recall correctly, both Irons and Lottman played a lot against each other in the MPSF days. 21-17, Newbold with a jumper, but into the net. He had a good rip on it, but just a little too low. Cole Fears back to service, 6'5" setter from Palos Verdes, California. Floaty pass by Newbold out to Directo. Directo off the block of Brink. That's 5'11 and a half, we'll call him, against a 6'5 Johannes Brink out there. But still, when you got a jump like that, I mean, we saw in last night's match in Academy United versus Pineapple, Taylor Crabb was just going to town.
Yeah, that match last night with the two Hawaiians, Riley McKibben and Taylor Crabb, both playing impeccable defense last night, just showing us, I mean, just ridiculous moves on the court. It was a really fun match to watch.
Oh, yes, most definitely. Team Aloha awesome. They are playing doubles, but the defensive plays they're making were so entertaining. Devaney quick back, high backs up to Irons. Fears picks it up and right back. Hurwitz hand sets to Brink. Brink dug by Newbold. Dig to kill, the DTK. I'm going to claim that stat line, the DTK.
DTK.
We've seen two now in this match alone.
Up with all kinds of acronyms over here.
Well, that's what happens when you have a lot of time on your hands. So we got a timeout taken by Blizzard. They're down by 4. And, you know, you're right in your assessment when you first came in. I mean, the change to the Rising Tide team makes them look very favorable in this match right here.
Yeah, they're just playing with a lot of steady confidence right now. They don't seem to be shaking too much when they're losing points or making mistakes. They just get right back into it and then side back out. Right. Still looking for offensive force from Blizzard. Haven't seen too much of a live arm from any of their offensive positions right now. So got to see if we can get someone going hot. But maybe look at Paul Lottman to start getting a lot more swings to try and get them back into this game.
Yeah, I think I personally would be throwing the ball out to Lottman every ball. I mean, you want to get him into a rhythm, because you know he packs the heat. So
yeah, when you got a ex-Olympian on your team, it'd be hard not to set that guy almost every ball, right?
Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah, it seemed to be like Fears likes to go to Johannes Brink quite a bit. Net violation called against the setter. Even though there was a block. And we have our first set point for Rising Tide as Colin Irons steps back to serve. Didn't get to see who got the net violation, but Irons will be serving nonetheless. Great serve, deep back corner to Lottman. Irvin takes a big rip and bounces it in front of Armin Zakarian, standing shallow left back.
Steve Irvin not ready for the set to be over. Castellano back to serve.
20 looking at set point number 2 as Ian Castellana goes back to serve for Blizzard. Castellana 6'5" middle. The former Aviator floats it long. Armin Zakarian gets a last-minute call from Colin Irons and wisely lets it fall long. And first set going to the Rising Tide as they lead 1-0 over Blizzard of SoCal, 1-0. Dalton, things that you saw in our first set of the morning.
Well, like we were talking about earlier, just looking for a little more offense from the Blizzard squad. Maybe after losing that first set, we might see a change in the middle. I mean, they're pretty deep when it comes to the middle. They got Ryan Meehan, a former Long Beach State player, at 6'7", and they also have ex-Olympian Russ Holmes and David Lee. So we'll see if they possibly start to get some action in this match and try and get that W.
David Lee just walking by the table as you said his name. I don't know if you planned that, but
didn't it happen to just work out that good?
Yeah, you know, Blizzard is definitely not at a shortage for weapons. So and maybe Coach John Shea is experimenting with a few combos on the court. But, you know, Rising Tide can't really mess around with that team because they've now got some new weapons on the court playing with them.
Yeah, if they keep executing this consistently, it's going to be real tough to stop these guys. I mean, their ball control is a lot better than it was yesterday in their first match in the morning. So they're making Vinny Devaney's job a lot easier on him.
You know, I'll have to say, after seeing Paul Lottman play in recent years, both with Long Beach State and the U.S. national team, and even following some of the matches when he's playing professionally in Germany and Poland, I mean, he is definitely, he can get it going. And when he gets it going, he is hard to stop.
He has a real live arm and just an all-around, well-rounded volleyball player, can do it all. So.
And he throws on a tough serve on top of that.
He does, that's for sure. So he brings a lot of heat from the service line. So I'm going to expect Blizzard to start setting him a lot more balls this set.
Yeah, make a Rising Tide stop Paul Lottman. That's, and if you want to win, it seems like that's what you're going to have to do.
That's right, that's right.
And I get it, you want to spread the wealth as a setter, but, you know, sometimes you got to ride the prize pony if you want to win the race. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You don't show up with the infant horse. And being that, you know, in Pool B, Rising Tide and Blizzard have 1-1 records. So when we get to the qualification rounds, this is going to be huge when they switch over because, you know, it's looking like Pineapple will end up being the second place team and they could get matched up with them come the qualification time. So, and Pineapple, after their loss last night, I just don't see them losing any more matches.
Yeah, I can assume that they're going to come back with a vengeance today and be looking out to be headhunting and really eager to win another match.
See, Loy Ball gets that fiery, competitive look in his eye, almost like the crazy look. But I mean, it was great. You know, he had it under control, and he uses that as a court leader to get his team going. And you saw that happen last night in the third set, the one that Pineapple won against Academy United. They just couldn't push it through on the fourth. Devaney going back to serve for Rising Tide, up 1-0. After one set of play. Leading the way for Blizzard are Paul Lottman and Stephen Irvin, both with 2 kills. Both are hitting about 200. And then for Rising Tide, we have Isaac Newbold leading the way. 8 kills, 0 errors. That's an awesome stat line. He's hitting 800. That was off the antenna. Oh, actually off the block and then the antenna. I saw the other way, but I was looking down for a moment. 1-0 for Blizzard as Castellana steps back to serve. Bryce Ewell, he's got to have an awesome stat line for Rising Tide. I mean, I don't think he has a single error.
Yeah, he's 4 for 4 on the attack right now, and it's going to be pretty hard to stop him.
Hitting 1,000. Bryce Ewell steps in, like, just feed me. Irvin hitting high off the block. In pursuit is Newbold, who gets to it. Devaney high backs it with a beauty. Irons off the block and drawing a Blizzard player to that is Stephen Irvin, the guilty party. 2 serving to 1. Yeah, for Isaac Newbold leading the way for Rising Tide. 8 kills. And Cullen Irons with 4. Ball's knocked down. Johannes Brink. 2-2. Brink stepping back to serve here on the replay. Check this out. Brink winding up.
Yeah, Brink also a high flyer, but he happens to be 6'6" and Directo 6 feet, so gives him a little bit of a height advantage when they're both up there. In the air.
Look at the one-hand butter from Vinny Devaney. Yeah, Brandon Directo gets the assist from his cousin Vinny. Oh, that's just artwork.
Could have gone with 2 hands there, but I think he's just going for style points on that set.
Big jumper pass by Lottman. Fierce back to Brink. Ooh, mark it. That thing went interstellar, I think. I think he was expecting a block to be there. But again, Directo standing at that 5'11 and a half.
It's going to be hard for anyone to touch that ball. I think it was sailing at 12 feet all the way to the back wall.
Force serving a 2. And Jake Hurwitz wisely lets that go through. The banana slug from UC Santa Cruz. I don't think we can say banana slug enough.
I know, right?
It's an underused
Rolls
word.
Off the tongue.
Yeah.
So easily.
Stephen Irvin back to serve, former Cardinal. 3 serving 4. Jumper misses long. Point going to Rising Tide. Those are still not feeling that rhythm quite yet as Cullen Irons goes back to serve. Irons with the jump float off the tape. Pass by Lottman. Brink this time makes sure this one hits the ground. And he had a one-on-one against Directo out there.
Yeah, real nice set by Fierce right there, but Marty Ross also getting the middle to commit on him, so that makes Johannes' job really easy hitting that D-ball.
He'll go into the front row and Ross will serve.
Substitution, actually just a libero rotation. Castellana back in for Hurwitz as Ross goes back to serve. Jump float cross court. Directo with a good pass. Devaney out to Directo. Knocks it by the block of Fears. Castellana took it off the chicken wing, but the rest of the Blizzard team let it fall on the floor. And it's 6-4 Rising Tide as Directo steps back to serve. Jumper by Directo, pass by Hurwitz, out to Lottman.
Nice set and big time swing from
There's like picture-perfect approaches and attacks. I think we just saw one there, you know. Not power, but just grace outside. Body lined up, shoulders turned inside the court, and he turned it down the line. Fierce serves it into the net.
Both teams seem to struggle a little bit right now from the service line. You can't really get it in a rhythm. Yesterday, in a lot of the matches, we were seeing a lot of guys bring some serious heat from the service line. So hopefully they can start finding a rhythm here pretty soon.
Fierce sets Castellana, who drills the pill in the middle.
Castellana and Ewell are very similar in playing styles. Both kind of undersized middles, but get up really quick and on time and hit with vision and heat.
Must be a South County thing. San Clemente for Castellana and Dana Point for Bryce Ewell. They're, I believe that's the Pacific Coast League opponents. High ball set by Devaney at the Newbold, rolls it off the block. Hurwitz hand dig, backs it by Fierce to the Brink, and Newbold clamps down on Brink at the outside. And it's 8-6 as we get into our first technical timeout with Rising Tide up here in set number 2. So as a player, how would you inject the adrenaline into the Blizzard team? They just seem kind of...
You know, I'm not sure. That's really something that it's got to come from the inside of the players, right? And you got to build that off. You got to build off of each other, and that just comes from celebrating, you know, your success and the small points and the good things that that Blizzard does. So we're starting to see a little bit more offense from them, from Johannes Brink and Paul Lottman. They're getting the middle going a little bit. So I think this set's going to be a lot tighter than the first one was.
Well, you can see the coaching staff of Blizzard. That's Sean Shea and Vinny Pizzuti, they're speaking vocally in their timeout.
That's right. I mean, you got player coach David Lee and Russ Holmes bringing some great knowledge to this young group of guys here that maybe don't have nearly the experience that they bring. So that's definitely going to help them out in the long run.
Yeah, if you're a player on your bench, you look and see, oh, they got David Lee and Russ Holmes there. I don't think they know too much about the game, but yeah, but they've got some great court smarts and wisdom and their experience. I mean, that's one thing that you can't ever overlook is the experience they bring and the knowledge they've gained from that experience. Floats are by Devaney, hand pass by Irvin, Johannes Brink getting another shot. Look at that flying dig by Directo. Free ball by Newbold. Lotman there to cover. Backs at the Brink again, and he hits it wide, but we have a net. Isaac Newbold making quite an impact on the Rising Tide side. It's not like he's the super big or flashy star. It's just he gets it done.
Yeah, it's just very, very smooth and very consistent. I think that was his first unforced error of the match.
Newbold blocked, but Ewald there on the, I guess, the standing cover. Or we'll just call he just looked like
getting hit by the ball than anything right there, but
he'll claim that he was there on cover intentionally. Score's tied at 8. Oh, Vinny Devaney with a fakie, the faux set. Newbold turned it down the line, dug by Castellano. Fears high out to Irvin. Double contact called on the set. Wow. I'd like to see that replay.
I'm sure if we had too many doubles yesterday, I think that might be the first one of the NVA showcase.
I tried a whole lot of firsts yesterday. Float serve down the line off the pin. There's a first. We haven't seen that all day.
The skinniest thing on the court. I think that's pretty hard to do.
That's right. 9 serving 9 as Johannes Brink goes back to serve. Set in the middle of Ewald. Ewald dug by his fellow Beachy Lotman. Devaney backs us to Irons. A Gaucho connection. Fears digs. Hurwitz bumps that out to Irvin. Irvin off the block, dug by Newbold in hot pursuit. Devaney to Directo at the outside and catches Brink off guard as he turns it down the line. 10 serving 9. Brandon Directo really gaining some respect at that left pin.
Yeah, not putting too much heat on that ball, but just getting up and snapping high down the line. Able to get the kill pretty easily there.
Mike Stewart, Colin Irons, and Brandon Directo comprising the front row of Rising Tide right now. Irvin with a good pass to Fears. The Stanford connection with the tip. 10 serving 10.
Little finesse from Marty the Moose right there.
I wonder if they're referring to moose as in the animal or moose as in the smooth dessert.
Or moose that you use in your hair.
Ball's pass side. Newbold set by Devaney and Stewart on the shoot set. Drops it down for 11-10.
Mike Stewart by and swinging fast. Irons back serve 11-10.
Going back to serve for Blizzard, Correction Rising Tide is Colin Irons. Lotman with a good pass off the net set. Lotman tips it, picked up. Free ball up and over.
Off Brandon Directo's head.
Lotman winds up off the block of Stewart. The monitor was blocking my view of that, so it went off Directo's head. Huh?
Yeah, they picked up the tip with a pancake, and then it just bounced off Directo's head. I don't even think he realized that what had happened.
That's why it's helpful to have a hard gel in your hair when you play volleyball. You get a good up. Directo with a hand pass. Devaney shoots at the Stewart. Moose making the move, but unable to get the ball up, and that would be Marty Ross.
Slow on the dig move by Marty Ross. Brandon Directo back serve for Rising Tide 12-11.
12 serving 11. Directo serving. Good jumper, but passed by Lotman. Fears back to Brink. Knocks it off the block of Newbold.
Johannes Brink able to use the hands and find a way to score.
Johannes Brink was at Cal Baptist University. Former Lancer. Also from Norco, California. Played volleyball with Taylor Sander. Set in the middle by Devaney to Stewart, who knocks it off the block of Castellana, and it falls. 13 serve to 12. Stewart back to serve.
That's great help by Paul Ottman right there, but he just isn't able to get over the net quick enough.
Yeah.
In order to stop Bryce. Or Mike Stewart, excuse me.
Fears with a good set to the outside. That was an excellent bomb by Johannes Brink.
Over the top of Vinny Devaney's block right there. That's going to be a pretty hard ball to take.
Well, you know, Irvin was compassionate for Devaney, gave him a little 5 underneath the net there, even though there probably was a little after effect of the bomb by Brink. That was the Lotman serve that we're used to seeing there.
That's right. That's the serve we've been waiting to see. See if he can strike a little fire under this Blizzard team and carry some momentum to get them to win this next set.
That was the grip and rip courtesy of Paul Lotman. Toss is up on the jumper. This one goes into the net. And we're tied at 14s. Blizzard chipping back away at the lead and then finally tying it up here at 14-14. Devaney shifting his service area on the end line, going to the left back area. Wonder what they see on the Blizzard side of the court. They're trying to hit Lotman. He's actually a great passer. Brink, all of a sudden, getting some heat.
I think they're probably just serving that over to Lotman in area 1 to try and hold the middle over and try and disrupt his approach coming in on the attack.
Look at that little strategy by DA. That'd be Dalton Ammerman in the house. Ball's knocked down and we're tied at 15s. Isaac Newble back to serve. Going back to serve again is Isaac Newble from Maui, Hawaii. Lotman with a perfect pass to Fears, right side to Brink. And Brink grabs the sideline, and somebody is getting hot, and that would be Johannes Brink.
That's right. After that high spatch to the wall, I wasn't so sure if he was going to be on this match, but he's starting to warm it up pretty good.
Maybe he felt he was being heckled by us and decided to kick it in, huh?
Just elevate his game a little bit.
Yeah.
If that's what it takes. We should have started talking a lot sooner.
That's one of the things that you'll see here as far as the atmosphere of all the guys playing there. They're excited to be here. They're having a good time. You know, you got the playful chatter going on across the net.
That's right. That's right. We even get to join in on it a little bit too ourselves.
we got to be a part of the chatter. You know, we're all about positive encouragement here.
That's right. That's right.
But yeah, the guys are having a good time, and you know, at the same time, we're seeing some highly competitive volleyball. And that's been, I don't want to say pleasant surprise. I'm not surprised, but I'm more surprised that it's taking this long to happen here, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the high level play is on the level that would compete with any other international pro league.
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt, all the high caliber players that are in this tournament right now, I mean, you're just going to get good volleyball no matter what match is playing.
Yep. 16-15 as Blizzard serves it up out of the second technical timeout. Directo with a hand pass to Devaney to Yule. Yule tips it off of Fears. Fears not expecting that, but Yule is so crafty. He just has so many different shots in the middle because as a smaller middle, he definitely has to use every single tool to his advantage.
That's right. You got to find other ways to kill the ball when you're not over the top of everyone.
Steve and Irvin with a levitation at the outside. 17-16.
Real nice set by Fears there, getting his one-on-ones out on the pins, and Stephen Irvin easily able to put that ball away.
It's a beautiful set right there on the replay. And you saw that wrist away hammer by Irvin. Irvin steps back to serve. Jump serve toss is up, and he delivers into the net, unfortunately. Practice that serving routine a little more there. Now, how important are routines in the game of volleyball, Dalton?
I think it's very important. It helps you stay cued in. I mean, just like any other sport, you see pitchers or even tennis players or golfers, they all have their routines before whatever skill it is they're doing in their sport. I think it just helps you stay tuned in a lot easier because, you know, it's very easy to get mentally distracted no matter what sport it is that you're playing.
Yep. On that last play, you just saw Johannes Brink, and, you know, I think the fire is getting hotter on the right side for Blizzard. Right. 18-17 as Marty Ross goes back to serve. Directo steps in on the pass. Irons off the block of Lotman. I really like that matchup over there because you have a 6'7" Lotman going against a 6'6", 6'7" Irons, and they're both have some pretty good shoulders.
Yeah, you got to be careful. When Colin Irons starts to get hot, he loves to hit that line down on that D ball.
Jump serve into the net. Brandon Directo with the service error, and it's 19-18 with Cole Fears to serve for Blizzard. Coach Russ Holmes on the bench there. Calling plays. Zakarian with a good pass. Irons knocks it down the line. The Lotman factor making him hit wide.
2-point advantage. Fierce to serve again.
Fears and Blizzard up 20-18. They're trying to tie our best of 5 matchup of 1 set apiece. Directo, the hand pass outside. Look at that butter to Newble. Nectar from the God set just fell from the sky. Newble rose up. I mean, he's got an excellent jump.
Mike Stewart back to serve.
Yeah, Vinny Devaney, probably one of the more elite setters in this tournament. Watching him set is just a lot of fun.
We got a call here.
Interesting turn of events. Fierce will serve for
I
Blizzard.
believe they're trying to call a net violation on Newble at the outside. Love to see that replay on Isaac Newble, number 4 from Rising Tide.
We have some discrepancy here.
So it looks like Vinny Devaney, team captain's talking to Ron Stahl. I'm not sure if they called the net or an interference of some kind, maybe.
It's looking like they called net on Newble on his swing, but it didn't look like he was even close to the net when he went up there.
Well, I guess we will just have to roll forward with the Blizzard up by 3, but hey, we always encourage social media engagement.
That's right.
Hashtag NVA USA. Tell us your thoughts. Look at that. Isaac Newble says, I got your net right here, as he hammers it.
You're not always going to agree with what the refs may call, and they may not always be right, but something that's out of your control and kind of have to learn to live with.
Well, in the international level, he got the video challenge system, which I think it creates great drama for the game. Brink tips out of play, but it's the whole process of getting that point, the protest, and going to the video challenge replay and watching it happen and the decision being made. It makes for good fun at matches.
Yeah, they're actually talking about trying to do that here at this tournament, but not sure if it was technologically possible.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, especially with the low cost, well, I say low cost, but, you don't need this $10,000 camera now. You can go with a couple GoPros around the court now. In collegiate, at least in the Big West Conference for women's, they were doing that whenever there's a televised match. They made video replay available. I mean, even just the 3 or 4 cameras they used, it added an element of the game, like an excitement because of anticipation of, oh, here we go. As the referee reviewed the calls or the video, and we're waiting, we come out with a decision. And it's the right call, and you can't ever take away from the right call.
That's right, I mean, because those situations can happen at crucial points, and the refs can always make mistakes too. So if you have that available to you, it's really nice to use, and it's unfortunate for the opposing team sometimes as well.
You mean refs don't walk on water?
I don't think so.
Ian Castellano tips into the block of Bryce Ewald. Johannes Brink sending fire in the hole. You would think that's a small block of the out there, but that's Bryce Ewald, who has a quick jump. And Vinny Devaney, who has been blocking well, considering he's only a 6'1" setter.
Yeah, that was drifting outside a little bit, and Bryce Ewald just wasn't able to get all the way out and close that block.
Lotman back to serve up 22-20. Lotman cracks the whip. Wow. Paul Lotman just fired the cannon.
You hear a little bit of chatter coming from Scott Tuzinski behind the court over there.
Better check for loose limbs around the court here, because that thing literally direct us like his arm out, and you saw his arm just go back.
Yeah, smart call by Rising Tide coach there to get the timeout, see if they can ice Lotman and get back into the second set.
23-20 with Blizzard leading. Rising Tide in set number 1 of day number 2 of our NVA Pro Volleyball Showcase. Paul Lottman putting on a show for us. You know, coming right off the plane and onto the court. Or was it the helicopter that he flew in on? But yeah, he's been playing some AVP contests this last summer. Had some pretty good results and has stayed in shape. Has a new little one as well. So I'm sure the change in lifestyle with the little one around the house has made it fun around here.
Yeah, I was talking to him earlier, and he said after playing beach all summer and staying away from the indoor game, his body has actually never felt better because there's so much pressure that your body takes after so many jumps on this indoor court.
Big rip, and Zakarian steps in front of it. Bump set by Directo off the scaffolding. Dug by Fears. Castellana is showing his hands. Johannes Brink hits it wide. Coach David Lee looking at the lines official.
Close, but no touch called on that.
No touch called. 21-23. David Lee close to getting a yellow card on the Blizzard bench. He's actually just smiling away, knowing that he was just acting to try and sell the touch call. Devaney goes cross court. Oh, the trickler ace. Or the dirty ace. We got a few things.
First trickler of the day. Probably see a few more of those in today's tournament.
They're serving tapeworms here today, and Vinny Devaney is our server. 22 looking at 23. Devaney goes down the line this time. Halotman with a hand pass. Castellana with a little San Clemente slam down there.
Coming around and showing Bryce Ewell that he can hit with range as well.
We have set point for Blizzard serving to 22. Castellana, the 6'5" middle from UC Irvine, to serve it up. So carrying a good pass middle. Bryce Ewell showing what he can do. Bump set saved by Lottman. Irvin rolls it off the block. Directo with a dig middle back. Winding up the outside. Cullen Irons. Directo digs again. Ewell pokes it by. Castellana dig over the net. Directo hand dig. Devaney back to Newbold. And Johannes Brink unable to stab it up. Good rally there.
Real nice rally. I think he just caught Johannes Brink off guard here. Real nice back set here by Vinny. Middle's not able to get out there, and Johannes Brink is standing straight up on defense.
23 serving to set point number 2. Isaac Newbold serving for Rising Tide. Irvin with a hand pass set out by Fears. Irvin flying at the outside, knocks down 4 points, and set number 2 going to Blizzard as our best of 5 matchup is all tied up at 1 set apiece. If you're just joining us, you're watching the NVA Pro Volleyball Showcase here in Las Vegas, Nevada, down the street from the MGM Grand and the UNLV Student Wellness and Health Center. First set was taken by the Rising Tide, 25-20. Blizzard just took the second set, 25-23. And we're switching sides. Dalton, tell me what we've been seeing out here.
Well, just starting to see a lot more fire and energy from the Blizzard crew. I mean, Paul Lottman bringing a lot of heat from the service line and also bringing a lot of firepower as well, along with Johannes Brink on the opposite. Rising Tide, ball control is still pretty well, but not putting away as many balls. I think they got to keep setting their outside. Newbold, he's gracefully getting kills and doesn't seem to be getting stopped very easily.
Yeah, Isaac Newbold has been playing like a smooth operator. You know, he's got this calm and cool presence on the court, but then when you set him, he just turns into a beast. But yeah, he's definitely made it super entertaining on the Rising Tide side. Yeah, because you have 2 smaller outside hitters now between he and Brandon Directo. And Bryce Ewell, you know, I hate to say he's small, but for the middle he's small, but he's definitely one of those the big difference makers for the Rising Tide.
Yeah, on this Rising Tide squad, a pretty undersized squad all around, besides their guy Colin Irons on the opposite, who stands at 6'7". But on the pins and in the middle, and even in the setter position as well, they're not the biggest team, but still offensively very, very effective.
We're on the Blizzard side. You know, Paul Lotman, we're getting to see some of the tougher serves. Looks like he's getting more into a rhythm and a groove. And Johannes Brink, you know, he was hitting a couple balls out of play, and then all of a sudden he blasts one down the line over Directo, and that got him going in that second set. But this is the thing, it still is only a deuce set.
That's right. I mean, there's still a lot of match left here. And for stats, we got Newble, who's still hitting over 400. He's got 9 kills on 17 swings. Bryce Ewell in the middle, hitting 700, 5 kills on 7 swings. And then for Blizzard, looks like we got both their middles, Castellana and Ross, are hitting 500. And Paul Lotman and Stephen Irvin both hitting around 300. So their offense is starting to pick up a little bit here.
Now we're getting our stats here at the end of each of the sets, so we'll be going over them with all of you watching in. Due to technical difficulties, we don't have a live stat, but, you know, we still got some great play nonetheless. And I'd like to thank you for coming in and watching online the NVA Pro Volleyball Showcase. Be sure to follow the NBA at NVAUSA.com, Facebook at NVA USA, and on Instagram and Twitter at NVA USA.
Player of the year, former Long Beach State 49er Paul Lotman back to serve.
We're about ready to get going here in our third set. We're tied at 1-1. Blizzard back to serve to kick off our third. Awaiting serve is a former AVCA All-American and USA National Team member Paul Lotman. Waiting for the whistle as the second referee, Ron Stahl, checks the lineup. And we're ready to go as Lotman gets the green light to serve. Lotman with a lot of spin on a jump serve with a BB fired to Directo. Newble winds up, rolls it off the block. Saved by Ewell. Great defensive play. Devaney sets it shallow over the net. And swinging away is Ross, picked up by Irons. Newble gets a little return package courtesy of Marty Ross and Johannes Brink.
Ross and Brink have a nice form solid block here, giving Newble hardly anywhere to go.
Yeah. The Blizzard wall has been erected. Lotman's little heat taken off of that one. Overpass. Irvin with the knocks down the overpass. Zakarian got a two-hand dig on it, but no one else on Rising Tide was able to dig in and get it. 2-0. Lotman on his third serve of their third set. Jump serve is up and delivered off net. Passed by Newble. Devaney back to Irons. There should be a net. That's actually hit off the block. There's a lot of movement on the net. There was no call. I guess the R2 has to send a little further off because of the way the standards are here. So I didn't recognize that till now, how far out it jets out on the side of the court. One serving it two. Devaney jump floats. Picking up Paul Lotman. Irvin off the block. Devaney with a pickup. Bryce Ewell showing the hands. Blocked by Marty Ross by the Colin Irons attack.
A little dab action from Marty Ross after that solo block. I think that's twice he's done that this tournament so far.
He's a man of many talents. Directo passes off net to Devaney. Newble cross court banging by the block and a swinging Paul Lotman in the back row. That was the propeller defense. Doesn't quite work. Flailing your arms. 2 serving a 3 with Newble still serving. Irvin with a hand pass. Johannes Brink blocked at the net by Directo and Ewell.
Directo making a real nice move there. And Bryce Ewell a little laid out on the block, but still helps get that touch.
Oh, you're right. Good call. Ewell was late, but he was there in time to knock it down.
That's right. And when you're a middle blocker, you're not always going to be able to read where the set is, but it's important that you always make that move because you can always get those late touches and still get blocks.
Jump serve goes long. Point going to Blizzard. Big question today. In the middle, does size matter?
Bring back serve.
They're showing in this match that it doesn't. If you have a quick and live arm and you can get up early, it's still going to be pretty hard to touch you.
Bryce Ewell showing that size.
Exhibit A right there, exactly.
Hey, it's always been fun to watch because I think that he's been overlooked, at least from the awards perspective, like conference honors and things like that, because you know, you got these other guys that are 6'8", 6'9", but I mean, the way he's playing, he might as well be 6'8", 6'9".
Yeah, he had a heck of a run his senior year when Long Beach needed to kill the ball. All they had to do was throw it into Ewell, and he was nearly unstoppable.
Yep. So you, the viewers, didn't see this, but the ball was dug high in the Blizzard side, and it ping-ponged around the scaffolding up top, and they just kept playing in pursuit. Ball was passed tight on the net on the third contact. Fears happened to be right there. It's good enough to be a set for him, and being that he's left-handed, he slapped it down, and it's 5-4 Blizzard. Irvin waiting for the whistle for serve for Blizzard at 5-4. Directo with a pass off the net. Devaney going to Stewart. Fear sets out to Lotman. Lotman abuses the outside block, and Irons knows he just got hung out to dry.
Slimy through the block of Irons. Irvin back serve, 6-4.
With a little wipe off the block. Smart outside hitters will always know the wipe move. Wax on, wax off. Directo with a good pass to Devaney. Directo with a set, and he drills it off of Johannes Brink's shoulder.
For that pass.
That was like a 3-set, not even like a hut.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty hard for the block to keep up with the tempo of that set.
So if you run that, a quick, and a bic, so that would be one formidable offense. Paul Lotman there early on the approach, but he still gets it by the block. Johannes Brink winding up and knocks it by Stewart and Directo. Not a lot of big being run in this match this morning. We're beginning to see that last night, obviously with Taylor Crabb in the lineup. And Ivan Matos trying to match up. Mano y mano with Riley McKibben was another highlight last night.
That's right. We had a little duel between those two last night. That was a really fun matchup to watch.
Directo with a jumper, passed by Jake Hurwitz. Marty Ross dug by Zakarian. Newbold rolls it deep to Irvin. Fears back sets to Brink. Brink. Oh, a little acting job there. Best Actor Award 2017, Isaac Newbold. He claimed no touch, and I saw touch.
I think Blizzard was also looking for a net call there. The net was bouncing up and down.
Looks like you can hear the chatter on the court. Not only did he touch the ball, but he touched the net as also. Well, then good acting by Newbold, because none of them he got caught for.
Sometimes you got to sell the call because you never know when you're going to get the point, even if you did have a micro touch on that ball.
Well, Blizzard was visibly, they're rattled. Got out of their game there. What ended up happening? Ball's overpassed. Newbold just knocks it down. Takes us into our first technical timeout.
That's right. I think both teams were a little slow to start off this match, but now that we're here in the middle of the third set, both teams are competing at a pretty high level.
Well, I like the sell, because especially without a video challenge system, Isaac Newbold immediately put his hands up in the air like he didn't touch it, along with celebrating his other guy, his teammates saying, no touch, but
whatever you got to do to win, I guess, right, Rob?
That's exactly it, huh? It's not his job to make the call.
Exactly.
That's why they pay officials. Well, but then I'd have to make an argument for a broken compass, a broken moral compass, for the spirit of the game. Hashtag broken moral compass.
Hashtag let your action define you.
8 serve to 7. It's all part of the game, though, and that's one of the things I've learned after years of watching it. It's like, highly competitive situation, you're going to make the sell. Good pass. Fears with a great set to Lotman. And sometimes you just got to feed the beast. And the beast is Paul Lotman.
Stewart getting hung up again on Marty Ross. You notice here on the replay, has a little slight jump and get Paul Lotman with a one-on-one, and that's going to be a highly effective offensive play for the Blizzard squad.
And Stewart has been biting too often on that middle attack. He's been, wise to saying, they're going to go their pins. They got Fears big, but Johannes Brink unable to get a paw on it. 9 serving to 8, and Mike Stewart steps back to serve. Stewart, again, the former Buckeye from Ohio State University. Float serve down the line. Lotman with a pass. Bumps that back to Lotman by Fears. Ross over on 1. Irons tips it by the block. Pancake dig by Hurwitz. Lotman pokes. Devaney with a save. Directo hand sets outside. And Newble. Newble just turned on beast mode.
Lighting up Jake Hurwitz right there. Even he couldn't contain that one.
You may have to scrape the blue and yellow off of Hurwitz's shoulder because Newble hit the paint off of the ball.
Giving him a little bit of a tattoo there.
Yeah. Mikasa tattoo, our artist, Isaac Newble. 10 serving to 8, and Blizzard takes a timeout. Coach John Shea wanting to slow down this rally here. Newble comes in with that windup at the outside, and it's not like the block wasn't there. He just squeaked it inside. Hurwitz was there on defense, but it came with so much heat he couldn't react in time to get a hand up. So Isaac Newble, definitely an impact player for Rising Tide. They're a totally different team.
Yeah, he's definitely starting to bring some serious momentum to this Rising Tide offense. See if Blizzard can get a good pass inside out here to slow him down.
And yesterday, Rising Tide in our first match of the morning, I guess they get all the first matches now, I think about it, but they hit over 400 in that first match. So it's not for lack of offense that they're losing. Fears sets Brink, and he knocks it right at us. Oh, there goes that NVA sign.
Johannes Brink with the swing.
9 serving 10.
Back to the line.
Yep, we have a foam barrier in front of us protecting us from these deadly balls. Paul Lotman serve. See if he nails the jump serve. And yes, he nails it, but into the net. Is it a tough transition to come from the beach to indoor or indoor to beach?
I would say both. I mean, it depends on whichever one you're training for. It's a completely different approach and jump on the beach than it is on the indoor. And on the beach, you're jumping more straight up. And indoor, you're able to broad jump a little bit more to the ball.
Johannes Brink sending a little message to Armin Zakarian down the line. We got substitution.
Marty Ross back to serve.
10 serving 11 with Marty Ross, a.k.a. Moose, back to serve.
But also then again, going back to the beach game, I mean, we're watching Taylor Crabb and Riley McKibben, 2 rising stars on the AVP Tour and competing in the FIVB Tours as well. They don't seem to have too much of a problem transitioning from one side of the game to the other.
Cullen Irons unleashing one at the outside. Point going to Rising Tide.
A little too close for comfort, Gregory.
10 serving to 12. Or correction, 12 serving to 10. Isaac Newble back to serve. Roll jump serve goes up and over on the overpass. Devaney back to Irons. Irons knocks it off of the middle. Actually, a new middle checked in for Blizzard. Playing in the middle for Blizzard, number 34, John Zappia. Brink tries to get the ball after rolling off the net. 13 serving to 10.
13-10.
Didn't see when Blizzard made that change. Didn't realize there's a substitution, but John Zappia is now in for Ian Castellana. Zappia wearing number 34. Plays ball at UCLA. And they got a rotation violation called against Blizzard. I believe Zappia wasn't certain where he was lining up on the court.
We will serve for Rising.
Newble knows that he's getting a little lucky there. after bombing his serve out of bounds, he gets another chance to go at it again here.
Wow, it was just a matter of inches that Zappia was out of rotation. Newble unloads, but it goes wide and long.
Service long. Bring back serve 11-14.
Isaac Newble for the Rising Tide. Played professionally in Germany and had a USA men's national team stint. Directo with the overhand pass. Roll shot dug by a flying Paul Lottman. Irvin splits the block of Yuld and Irons on the left side.
Paul Lottman clean.
12 looking at 14.
Steve Irvin able to convert for Blizzard. 12-14.
Nice off-speed shot there by Directo, but Paul Lottman's able to pick it up. Bryce Yuld doesn't just get out there far enough to close that block and get that stop.
12 serving to 14. Johannes Brink rips it down the line. No touch. Looks like the ball was hit flat. Would that be hitting the ball hot and flat?
Hot and flat. Johannes seemed to struggle to find a little bit of a consistency here on the attack.
Yuld with a jumper pass by Lottman. Fears outside to Irvin. Rolling it inside triple block at a net violation. Looks like they're pointing at Directo as the guilty party. So point going to Blizzard, 13 serving 15. Irvin back to serve. Irvin stands at 6'5" from Palos Verdes, California. Newble with a good pass to Devaney. In the middle, Stewart. Pancake dig by Hurwitz. Lottman takes a rip. Bump step by Newble up and over. Hurwitz steps in on the pass. Outside to Lottman. Lottman off the outside block of Irons and Stewart. Paul Lottman just has such a great skill set for an outside hitter out there.
Yeah, he's just an all-around dynamic player and just brings a lot to the game offensively and defensively.
He's at the tail of two different players from Long Beach State, both former All-Americans. You have a 6'6" Paul Lottman, then you have a maybe 6-foot Taylor Crabb. Outside attack is out of play. Directo looking for a touch. I didn't see one, but on my angle, it's hard to see. Yeah, can you imagine the Long Beach State All-Star team or all-time team? Taylor Crabb, Paul Lottman, David Lee. And I'm not just touting all the Long Beach State guys because there's so many here. They are here, but they have great guys that come out of the program. Same with Stanford, UCLA, Santa Barbara, as we see from Vinny Devaney, a former Gaucho, as Directo knocks it inside the block. Then you have a bunch of Loyola and Lewis players, and Ohio State, George Mason. There's some great players in the USA is what I'm trying to get at here.
Yeah, that's right. We were talking a lot yesterday about how the talent pool is really spread out across the nation for men's volleyball as of the last 5 years.
Yep.
I believe you said the last 4 national championships in the Division I men's program have been won by the MIVA, which was unheard of about 10, 15 years ago when the West Coast was the dominant force in the men's volleyball.
And if it was won, it would be won by Penn State.
Right.
Well, what's even more incredible is you look at some of the other players that are being represented in this league. There's some D3 players who are putting on a great show. AJ Nelly, Springfield College. You know, there's guys from a few other smaller colleges, like, you know, we got Mohawk, my favorite, Mohawk College, but that's actually in Canada, so I don't know if that counts. But you have community college players who didn't go to a 4-year school or come out and plan and have D1 or professional level skills.
That's right. I mean, that just goes to show you that different players mature and develop at different times in their careers.
Yep.
So it doesn't necessarily matter where you play collegiately or high school. You can still go play professionally and even on the national team, even if you don't compete at a Division I level.
Directo stuff. Cole Fears applying the wall of shame.
Fears making a nice move, low and over in the seam with his left hand here. Getting all the way out to the line, shutting Directo down.
Great swing block move, though. You see him crouch down low, throw the arms up. 16-16. We're going to have ourselves another five-setter, is my guess. Service into the net. That was Zappia. John Zappia seen his first serve. As Directo goes back to serve. That one floats long. No topspin. In fact, there's probably backspin and a propeller on top of it, too. Just a little miss hit on the jump serve, making it 17 all as Cole Fears goes back to serve. Direct with a good pass. Irons swinging away. Dug by Fears on the lucky dig. Ball comes over. Irons has to pass it low. Fears sets middle and Moose with a little stop and pop in the middle. 18-17 for Blizzard.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Mike Stewart was doing here. Looked like he jumped with the setter, even though the setter was back row. Possibly thought the ball was coming over the net, but that just left no one up to block Marty the Moose Ross.
He's 6'9", so you definitely want to put a body on him at least, lining up with him. Because he has been the most successful of the middles in this match so far. So you got to respect the offense that he brings to the Blizzard team. As Mike Stewart brings a little of his own offense, but there is a net violation called against Blizzard. 18 served 18. Stewart serves it up again for Rising Tide. Rising Tide representing the Chesapeake, Washington, D.C. area. Another great university out there with some good D1 volleyball. George Mason University, which has some players represented here at our NVA Pro Volleyball Showcase. Big shout out to George Mason coach, Jay Hosick. I know you're probably tuning in. And yes, I'll take one of those Volkswagen vans too. Devaney with a high set to the outside. Newbold blocked, set out by Devaney again. Newbold knocks it inside the block. Fears high out to Irvin. Irvin rolls it off the end line. Directo made a good move, but I think he was hoping he would be out. 20-18. The guy love the way that Blizzard has just chipped away at the lead and got back into this. Lotman unloads. Bad pass to left front. Yule with a knuckler. Lotman on defense. Johannes Brink sets it over. Directo hand pass. Yule swings up the block. Look at that dig by Fears off his left hand. Irons picks it up. Devaney out to Newbold. Newbold brushes it off the Brink and Ross block. 19 serving to 20. Devaney going back to serve again for a Rising Tide, former 6'1" setter from UCSB. Hybrid, nice flat serve. Net violation called on Brink. Newbold was there to clean up on that overset though, to tie the score at 20s. Blizzard having some difficulty passing again here all of a sudden. It's amazing how that just turns on and off, the inconsistency.
Yeah, it's definitely a big momentum shifter for the game.
Ball's dug by Armin Zakarian playing libero back left, and Newbold. Oh, I saw touch. Oh, we got the lines official calling the touch here. Right in between the block of Brink. Coach John Shea not happy at all, but it was a justifiable touch. The ball changed directions in between Brink and Ross.
Yeah, it was a real nice high swing by Newbold, and by the looks of the faces on the Blizzard squad, I think they weren't too against that call. I think they knew they touched that ball.
I think Johannes Brink, the most angry person on the court after that call, just let a little steam out there. Yep, anger management manifesting itself in a physical blast.
Fears knows exactly who to set after that play.
Yeah, exactly. Devaney back sets to Newbold. Look at that cutty. Fears unable to get to the ball, but that's an amazing shot by Newbold.
That's quite. Newbold has done that quite a few times on the right side now, and Johannes Brink can't seem to get set on defense.
Yeah.
Not able to get a good up on that ball, causing Fears to have to run it down and not be able to set it.
Fears went into the standard base, and it is not a soft base at all. May have taken a little injury there. Coach John Shea is speaking to his setter. His team down 22-21 to Rising Tide. We have some setter challenges if Fears has to step out.
I think this might be more of a little bit of a slowdown and delay for Blizzard, trying to slow the momentum of this Rising Tide at the end of this third set. See if they can make a change here.
Well, if they were to, well, he's not injured, but had he been injured, Blizzard doesn't have backup setter. Fears sets the middle, and John Zappia gets his first kill. Scores tied at 22.
Zappia with the kill for Blizzard. We're tied up 22 apiece.
22-22 as Johannes Brink goes back to serve for Blizzard. Floats are passed by Directo. Devaney in the middle to Ewell, and he drives it down. Ewell is Mr. Consistent as we're seeing a Rising Tide substitution. Checking in for the first time, Bart Kowalski. Setter, defensive and serving specialist for Rising Tide. 23 serving 22. Kowalski, like I said, a former gaucho from Simi Valley, California. Ball's passed by Hurwitz. Middle set to Zappia as he knocks it down, and we're tied at 23.
Zappia with another kill.
Back in, Bryce Ewell for Bart Kowalski. Zakarian checks back in for Ewell on the libero roll. Stephen Irvin back to serve for Blizzard. Irvin jumps it into the net, and it's set point Rising Tide. Serving to 23 as Cullen Irons goes back to serve. Jump float, great with no movement. Fears outside of Lotman. Lotman unloads by the block of Stewart and Devaney, and we're tied at 24s.
Zappia back serve.
John Zappia to serve.
Rising Tide able to get a pretty solid double block over here, but Lotman still finds his way up over the top of it.
Float serve goes deep to Newbold. Devaney sets back to Irons. Irons dug by Irvin. Backs at the Brink. Brink knocks it off the block, and the tables have turned. It is now set point. Blizzard serving at 24. Timeout's taken by Coach Danielson, as his ripped Rising Tide team is down 25-24. Daniel Davidson stepping in, the coach, just got in last night. So team captain Vinny Devaney serving two roles as team captain and coach. So coming in this timeout, what are you telling the Rising Tide team to do?
I just need to calm the nerves a little bit here, settle down, get a solid pass up to Vinny. I think you just set this ball out to either pin, and I think Colin Irons or Brandon Directo have a good shot at putting this ball away, getting it back into this late third set.
Well, we got the outsides of Isaac Newbold and Brandon Directo, who've been really consistent for a Rising Tide. You got three options you can go to here. Set point number one, serving at 24. John Zappia serving for Blizzard. Zappia with a float pass by Newbold, sent out to Recta. Looks like it was a missed hit. And point and set number 3 goes to Blizzard as they now lead 2-1 over the Rising Tide. So, Rising Tide takes the first set 25-20. Blizzard comes back to take the next two, 25-23 and 26-24. And set number 4 getting ready to go. So, for Rising Tide, you're down 1-2 now. Coach Davidson, what do you tell your team?
I think they just need to keep being a little bit more aggressive on offense. We're not seeing as much production, especially from the Pens, from Rising Tide right now. Their ball control is still pretty good. They also need to just start slowing down Paul Lottman and Johannes Brink on the Pens over there. They're just taking their offense to another level over on the Blizzard side and bringing a lot of heat from the service line.
Now on the Blizzard side of things, obviously that change, putting John Zappia in the lineups, been a very beneficial.
That's right. Castellana, Zappia, both pretty similar size, but Zappia was able to come in and contribute offensively pretty early for these guys to help them get back into this match.
And of course, the addition of Paul Lottman is showing immediate impact. And just is serving. He's got a couple aces under his belt already. And kills. He's been a consistent attacker. Again, if you're just joining us, you're watching the NVA Pro Volleyball Showcase here in Las Vegas, Nevada. We are at the Student Wellness and Recreation Center on the campus of UNLV, right down the street from the MGM Grand. Want to say hi to all of you viewers on the web stream and family and friends of the team members here that have been competing the last couple of days. Be sure to get the word out. Follow NVA at NVAUSA.com and on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at NVA USA. That's NVA USA.
That's right. If you need a late winter vacation, quick trip out to Vegas. Sure, flights are really cheap right now because you're missing out on some great action out here at UNLV Student Recreation and Wellness Center.
And if you want to kill some time after the play is done, you can always go to the rodeo.
Or go to the casino and gamble. Maybe try and test your luck a little bit. Maybe win a little money.
There's a lot of one-armed bandits around here.
Indeed there is.
As we reset the court and begin our fourth set, we have Team Blizzard from SoCal, Lake Forest, California. 2-1 over the Chesapeake Rising Tide that's representing the Washington, D.C. area.
1-2 after Blizzard. In the victory in the last one.
Vinny Devaney steps back to serve to kick off set number 4.
A lot of offensive production coming from this Blizzard squad. You got almost all of their offensive attackers hitting over 400 right now.
That's a great number.
As a team on the match so far through 3 sets, Blizzard's attacking percentage is .447 and Chesapeake is .384. So both solid numbers for both teams. So offensively, they're producing quite a bit. So maybe we need to see a little bit more defense from both sides.
Looks like we may have some lineup confusion on the Blizzard side. So Castellana comes on, John Zappia off.
Looks like we're all set. Devaney to serve.
And we're ready to go here in set number 4 with Vinny Devaney back to serve, the former Gaucho from UCSB. I guess we're not ready to go, waiting for the R2 to check back in with the R1. That's Ron Stahl.
And here we go.
Devaney, tough serve down the line to Lottman. Fears sets outside to Brink, and he hits it long. 1-0. Coach David Lee.
David Lee really trying to sway the refs over here on the bench, but it's not working out in his favor.
The communications class at Long Beach State, not a very effective tool, apparently.
Hey, state schools.
Fears sets high out the Brink. Brink winds up again, but this time hits the target, gets a little revenge on the referee as it goes into the R2 standing courtside after the deflection.
Nice
and
job.
we're tied at once.
Nice job by Fears there, going right back to Brink and keeping his confidence up.
Yeah, Brink has definitely been in the weight room. He's got some cannons hanging off the shoulders there. Score's tied at 1 with Lotman on the jump serve. Devaney sets middle to Ewell, dug by Fears. Ball comes over. Ewell has to pass the ball. Devaney outside to Irons and saved by Lotman. Free ball by Brink over net. Off the tape, Ewell with the pass, and Ewell with a feed and bang.
Great defensive effort, but Bryce Ewell able to put that ball down for Rising Tide. Newell back serve to 1.
Isaac Newell serving for Rising Tide. Great play by Ewell. Check this out here.
Able to keep that ball in system and is up quick again, and they're just not able to get their hands across the net for that swing.
2 serving to 1. Newell standing at 6-1. The former Matador Cal State Northridge. Played for Coach Jeff Campbell as Ian Castellana with a windup in the swing.
Castellano with the piece out of the middle.
Castellana subbing in for Zapia and immediately able to make a difference in their offense.
He's playing for court survival at this point. It's Survivor NVA edition. Ball is knocked inside the block. We got a new outside hitter stepping in at the outside for Rising Tide. Back in after playing, we seen him play yesterday, is Matt Jones from Harvard, 6'3". He was banging away yesterday. So Rising Tide electing to go with a little bigger lineup, stepping away from Directo, going to Matt Jones. That was a little palm bomb by Marty Ross.
Yeah, smart attacking decision there by Ross, noticing that Bryce Ewell there, Rising Tide's middle over here is playing left back defense. All he has to do is tap it down over there because middles typically aren't usually the best defenders.
Oh, that's
So you didn't hear that from me.
That's profiling. This is a judgment-free zone, Dalton. Colin Irons does his best to try and recover the ball off the net, but it goes under, and it's 4-3 Blizzard. Rising Tide trying to battle back in this one to push a 5th set tiebreak, and Blizzard trying to close it out. Jones with a hand pass. Jones gets his first swing of the night. Picked up by Hurwitz, back set to Brink. Brink hits it long. Now I bet you that's substitution to try and contain Brink at that right pin.
That's right. Put up a little bit more formidable block up against him since he's gotten pretty hot in the last couple sets.
Some coaching strategy going on here on the Rising Tide bench. Float serve to Lotman. Lotman gets it right back. And that was a back row attacker violation.
Despite a great swing out of the back row, Lotman
looked good, sounded good, but wasn't good. See the replay here if it was close or not. Oh, look at this. Oh, I don't know about that one.
That's a heck of an eye by the up ref right there. I'm not sure if he was over or not.
It could have been a shadow. Do shadows count, Dalton?
I don't think so, but maybe they do now here in the NVA.
The new shadow rule. Irvin knocks it inside the block. Hope the Blizzard coaching staff didn't hear us on that Paul Lotman call. Sitting right in front of us here as we're talking about it, and it's 5-5. Irvin standing float serve, a little change up there. Jones swinging away as he knocks it down, and it's 6-5, a Rising Tide. Matt Jones going back to serve.
Coming from the Blizzard bench, the coaching staff saying that we got to dig that ball. It's way too easy of a ball to let go.
Lotman with a knuckler off of Devaney, net violation. Devaney not fighting the call, so I guess he was into it. Score's tied at 6s. So you have a front row on the Rising Tide side of Stewart, Devaney, and Jones. You have Lotman, Fears, and Castellana on the Blizzard side. Great sets the outside. Newbold going to the deep corner. Steven Irvin made the move, but it was a half-step move. Didn't really commit. I guess he just don't know how to defend against Newbold because he's got such a great range of shots. 7 serving to 6. Lotman with a good pass to Fears. Lotman gets it right back. And I think Lotman wanted the little Mikasa ball to find Mama, which is sitting over there in the corner. That big old inflatable.
I think Lotman was expecting a little bit faster of a set on that ball and came in early and ended up hanging and not able to make solid contact on that.
Yeah, that's a tough job. You're there early and you got to find something to do with the ball that's going to make it difficult for the other team, or do you try and just get it over?
Well, sometimes, that goes back to that red light, green light scenario that we were talking about yesterday. If there's a ball where you don't think that you should be hitting 100% and it's probably not the smartest choice, sometimes it's just better to keep that ball in and force the other team to make the unforced errors.
So what would Dalton Ehrman have done in that situation?
I probably would have done the same thing as Paul Lotman. Not very good at controlling my aggressiveness when it comes to hitting the ball. Not one to tip quite a bit.
Well, the other scenario is, there could have been a block that would have gone up, but the block just didn't go up.
Yeah.
So you look for hands and swing high off the hands.
You see Paul Lotman talking to their setter, Fears right there, probably telling them to speed that set up a little bit. Paul Lotman's probably used to a little bit faster paced set on that outside go.
All I got to say is I'm going to take the role of the go, why does the setter always get blamed for everything?
It's never the hitter's fault, man.
Yeah, the club days, it's the setters or the brains.
I'm sure every position that you ask, they always blame it on everyone else.
Bryce Ewell off the block. Bryce Ewell saying, why get off the net? Why use an approach? I'll kill the ball anyway.
Our team captain, David Lee, yelling at his Long Beach State fellow alumni, Bryce Ewell. Oh.
Quick pull for Ian Castellana. Zappia back into the game. Let's see if he can make a difference for the Blizzard squad.
High set by Fears to Lotman off the outside block. Lotman looks like he's having some connection issues there because, again, you can see he was already at one step into his approach, and he had to readjust based on the height.
Yeah, this being Paul Lotman's first match of the tournament, I'm sure him and Fears are still kind of getting used to each other right now.
Hybrid down the line, pass by Zakarian. Devaney big to Jones.
How about Matt Jones throwing the ball out of the back row for Rising Tide?
I don't know if your fans can hear the heckling coming from the Blizzard bench. That's team captain David Lee calling Jones over the 10-foot line.
Paul Lotman there to help out, but just can't get his hands over the net fast enough.
Devaney goes down the line, pass by Lotman. Fears in the middle to Zappia. Oh, great dig by Jones. Up and over by Devaney. Fears sets the middle to Zappia. Zappia knocks it down. It's 10-8. Direction 8 serving to 10.
Lotman walks back to the line.
Free ball over to the Blizzard team here, and they're able to keep it in system. As Zappia's up early, able to hit with vision and range, and that nice cut back.
Lotman with a service for Team Blizzard. Jump serve, pass by Zakarian. Look at that. Money set, new ball with not a lot of heat, still falls on the Blizzard side. And it's 11 serving A. And so, Dalton, what determines where the libero end up in defense in the back row?
Well, it really depends on the blocking schemes. If you're taking the line or leaving the line, it's the libero has to set up around the block. That way they're not standing right behind the block, so they're able to see the hitter and react to the attack.
How about in relation to initial starting position? Because we sometimes see them rotating to middle back on defense or left back.
Right, so usually everyone in the back row in defense has their base positions. Both on the wings, the right and left back, will usually start about 12 feet off the net and 2 or 3 feet inside the court. And then depending on where the set goes, whether it's out to the pens or the quick, then they make their adjustments on where to go.
This attack by, looks like that was Jones. Cullen Irons, actually. Cullen Irons, quiet, but he's been contributing. Fears back sets to Brink, and Brink knocks it by Jones. Same result as when Brandon Directo was out there.
And that's right. Mike Stewart having a little tough time getting all the way out there to help Jones on that block, giving Johannes a lot of court to swing away at.
High out to Jones. Jones beach shot off the block. Devaney back to Irons. And Irvin teamed up with Marty Ross on a double stuff. Cullen Irons looking for assistance from the referees, looking for the net violation by Blizzard. And it's 11 serving to 12. Brink serves to Newbold. It's a bad pass off the net. Jones has to adjust. Hit with a left hand. Brink sets outside, and they call the double. Even Brink didn't fight that one.
Violation called on Johannes Brink. Cullen Irons will go back serve for Rising Tide, 13-11.
13 serving 11 with Cullen Irons serving for Rising Tide. Got a hold on the whistle here. That wipes some sweat off the floor.
We got a wet spot. Towel requested.
13 serving 11, Rising Tide serving to Blizzard.
The job on themselves. Cullen Irons still back there waiting.
Cullen Irons quietly with 9 kills. And he's hitting only 192 though, but he's still getting his attempts. Jake Hurwitz with a pass. Brink knocks it off the net. Devaney was rotating, coming off the net on defense and was caught off guard. And it's 12 serving to 13 with Steve Nervin serving. Irvin standing at 6'5" from Palos Verdes, California, former Cardinal. Pass by Newbold. Outside set to Jones. Dug by Irvin. Bump set saved by Fears. Lotman blocked at the net by Stewart. Devaney solo block on Lotman. Actually, they're calling 4 contacts. Devaney wanting that block on Paul Lotman, though.
The small setters are always trying to get credit for those any block that they can get.
Hey, man, my pinky got it.
As we saw, like when we were watching Riley McKibben play yesterday, he showed that height isn't always needed to block some of those players that jump really high, because sometimes they'll bring that ball down to their level. Give them a little early Christmas present, as we like to call it.
Career moment. 13 serving 14. Marty Ross serving the 6'9" middle from UC Irvine. Zakarian hand sets outside Newbold. Newbold off the block, picked up by Brink. Fears outside of Lotman. Lotman gets it off of Devaney. Devaney sets it outside to Newbold. Newbold inside the block of Zappia. 15 serving to 13. It looks like we have a little injury here on Lotman, a little back problem. Hopefully it's nothing too serious.
Our score is 15-13. Mike Stewart back to the line.
Stewart going back to serve, 15 serving to 13. Stewart floats it to Irvin. Fears out to Lotman. Lotman dug by Stewart. Stewart with the beach up, but no one stepped underneath to get it.
Walking back from Blizzard.
And it's 14 serving to 15. Fears 14. Blizzard stands at 6'5". Zakarian with a good pass. Tipped in the middle by Ewald. Fears sent outside to Lotman. Lotman blocked. Ball goes over by Zappia. Devaney to Newbold. And Zappia and Brink finally got him, but a net violation is called. And we go into our second technical timeout with Rising Tide leading 16-14. I didn't see a net there, but they have a better view. But that was a total rally killer by the Blizzard.
Real tough call for them. It seems like Lotman and Fears are still having a tough time connecting on the outside.
You know, the thing is, especially for Lotman playing on the national team, you know, they run a fast offense.
That's right.
So he's probably not even used to seeing a high ball at this point.
Yeah, and even from 15, 20 feet off the net,
Yeah.
You're playing with that high caliber of players. Usually they're going to keep it in system and keep that fast set going most of the time.
And Fears in the Stanford system is they run a little higher sets anyways.
Yeah.
So it's got to be quite an adjustment. Yeah, whereas on the other side of the net, you have the familiarity of Devaney and Irons, so he knows what kind of set he likes to hit. Maybe they're floating him out to the pin. Yeah, to Jones or Directo.
First
and Newbold.
Action, NVA National Volleyball Showcase. We're here in set number 4 where Rising Tide has taken a 2-point advantage.
Vince Devaney, or Vinny Devaney, going back to serve up 16-14. The former Gaucho from UC Santa Barbara is now an assistant for Coach Rick McLaughlin. The Gauchos enter the newly formed Big West Men's Volleyball Conference in 2018. Brink splitting the block to the outside. Jones there on defense, but unable to get his forearms underneath it.
Kill for Blizzard.
A little bit of a low set there from Fears, but Johannes Brink able to have a quick arm and still get that ball through the seam.
Big serve by Lotman. Devaney sets the middle of Ewell. He's blocked. Jones with a one-hand dig. Newbold knocks it out the right side. Actually, it's wide, and we're tied at 16. Johannes Brink with double-digit kills. He's got at least 17 kills at this point. I would think that my main option would be the gentleman who's serving right now, Paul Lotman. Lotman takes a rip. It goes over the net on the pass by Zakarian. Fears sets Irvin, who's then dug by Jones. Back set by Devaney to Newbold, who tools Irvin at the right side. 17-16.
Bold move by Bryce Ewell there, pulling his hands down when he's jumping up in the air and not blocking, but Matt Jones still able to get that dig, and they're able to convert that transition point.
Floats her by Newbold, pass by Irvin. Back set, Zappia with a tip. Devaney picks it up. Set by Zakarian. Irons rolls it down the line. Hurwitz expecting something a little harder, but instead just defends his face and tries to direct the ball inside. And like that, Rising Tide's up 18-16.
Sometimes when you're bringing the heat alive on the offensive side and you mix it up with an off-speed shot, the defense is so dug in waiting for that really hard driven ball that you can find a lot of success with some off-speed shots.
There's certain terminology that we hear quite a bit in volleyball circles that explain what being on your heels means, Dalton.
So being on your heels basically means that you're going to be off balance. You're not going to be able to react to an attack. So ideally you want to be on your toes, that way you can, once the ball is attacked, you can react to it, and you're able to actually move your feet forward or to the side to try and dig that ball.
Nice, I like it. The volleyball Wikipedia, courtesy of Dalton Emmerman. Although we disagree on spatula and pancake.
I agree completely with you on the spatula and the pancake.
Irvin with a hand pass. Fears sets back to Brink, and Brink busts one down.
Brink bringing some fire after that attack, trying to get his team fired up to win this fourth set.
I think he's angry that they cut the Cal Baptist program. That's why I hit it that hard. That's right, you heard it here. Not happy about that one, but who knows now? Oh, we're live? No. Ball's knocked off the block by Cullen Irons, and Cullen Irons had as a player, he was known as a big banger, and he's still been playing big. He has the potential to be a super big volleyball star just because he's such a great opposite, but he's chosen to stay back here in the States and become an assistant coach for Rick McLaughlin. With Vinny, and there's Cullen Irons. Can we call him Iron Man? But it's a plural, so.
Colin Irons just able to get out all the way out to the antenna and shut down the line, but then he also makes that low move with his left hand in that seam, able to stop Stephen Irvin on that attack.
Jump serve into the net, and it's 18 serving to 20 as Johannes Brink goes back to serve. Hand pass by Jones to the right side. Irons hits it wide at the bystander LVC players waiting for their match to come up.
Colin looking for Irvin's hands there, but Irvin pulls his hands back and says, not today.
Brink goes down the line. Newble with a two-hand pass. Irons unloads. Brink digs it out of play. Cullen Irons steps back to serve up by a pair at 21-19. Johannes Brink. Correction, Cullen Irons going back to serve. Steadying middle back, hits a really good jump float. Hurwitz passes almost over the net. Talk about a lucky play. You gotta watch that on the replay. Cole Fears had a tight pass and had saved it with his right hand. Poked it, saved it, and Moose was there to get it after it got knocked off the block.
Number 43,
Who gets the assist, Fierce or the middle on the other side of the net, Stewart?
Guess it goes to Stewart.
We'll take a seat.
Sorry, Cole. We're one less assist on the day. 20 looking at 21. And coming into the match, Hartley. Hartley for Blizzard was a player of the match in match number 1 yesterday. 6'5", former outside from the University of Hawaii. Looks like he's getting pulled for Irvin back again.
Serve just shy of the top of the net. Hartley will return to the match. Irvin back into the match.
22 serving at 20. He's going to have another substitution. Bart Kowalski coming in. Hoping for a little serving magic for the Rising Tide as Jones steps off the court. Kowalski stands at 6'1", listed as a setter, but is a serving specialist. Fear sets high out to Lotman, who's blocked at the net by Devaney. Devaney and Stewart go up. You know, Lotman hits a really high ball. Devaney soloed on him.
Yeah, I think that ball was probably going out, but Johannes ended up playing it anyways, and then they end up going back to Lotman on the outside, and he has an off-speed shot and ends up getting the block to come into the net.
Service to the net by Marty Ross makes it 23-21 Rising Tide.
Number 14, Mike Stewart.
Stewart back serve.
Real important that Rising Tide converts here on this defensive play so they can shut down this 4-set and force a 5th one here.
Hurwitz a bad pass off the net. Fierce sets outside to Lotman, who knocks it off of Devaney. Lotman kind of getting into a little groove here in our 4th set.
Fierce back serve, 22-23. Look at it, tied up.
Cole Fears back to serve for Blizzard. You got Paul Lotman on their screen there, and Johannes Brink. The 2 hot hands for Blizzard. Yule knocks it down to the middle. High out to Lotman. Lotman with a pokey off the block. Devaney with a good save, but it goes up and over the net. And we have 23-23.
But just not enough to keep it in play.
Great effort by Devaney on the other side, but Paul Lotman, you can just see his hitting smarts and hitting knowledge at the outside pin.
Cole Fierce back to serve.
Devaney getting up high enough to block the big outside hitter, Paul Lotman. Timeouts taken by Rising Tide. We're now tied 23-23. Rising Tide trying to force a 5th set tie break, and the Blizzard trying to close it out right here.
Yeah, it looked like Rising Tide had some momentum at the end of this 4th set, but within the past few plays, Blizzard just keeps throwing the ball out to Paul Lotman, and he's showing that he knows what to do when it comes to big moments like this to keep his team alive and try and force the end of this match here.
See, in the timeout there, you got Coach John Shea, and you got David Lee, co-captain, John Zappia, and Paul Lotman. 23-23. Apparently, Coach Shea is talking about blocking or worshiping David Lee. But I'm pretty sure it's blocking that he's talking about at 23-23. You know what? On the blocking side of things, Bryce Ewald and Mike Stewart have been doing a pretty good job against Blizzard. 23-23. Bryce Ewald taking it down in the middle, and it's set point serving to 23. Look at this hit by Ewald. Up and over Zappia. Vinny DeVaney serving for set point for Rising Tide. Jump float passed by Lottman. Fears back to Lottman, and Lottman takes care of business.
A little bit of tempo overhead, and the Lottman train continues to roll. We'll go back to the service line. We're tied at
24-24. Lottman goes back to serve after that big beat down at the right side. Lottman with the jump serve has been pretty deadly here today. Isaac Newbold, Rising Tide's primary gun, knocks it off the block, and it's set point number 2, serving to 24 as Isaac Newbold steps back to serve.
What do you think, Rob? Do you think they throw the Bic to Lottman here?
I would. So he's got the hot arm right now. Newbold with a good serve to Hurwitz. Fears sets back to Brink. Dug by Newbold. Goes over the net. Hurwitz with the hand pass. Fears back to Brink. And Matt Jones with a 10-finger discount. And we are going 5 here at the UNLV Student Health and Recreation Center, or Wellness, whatever center we're at. That was an awesome block
center of some kind, yeah. Usually Johannes Brink able to get above the block, but Matt Jones rising up and shutting him down. That was an incredible move. Really nice job to get across the net.
See, what he did with his hands is what was amazing, because you just saw that turn of his outside hand last minute. And, you know, Johannes Brink is a big hitter, so as hard as he hits it, it comes back faster at you off the block.
That's right.
It adds a little more shame to the block when it comes down fast. I guess you got to go for broke and settle for consequences.
That's for sure. Heading into this 5th set, don't be surprised to see Blizzard keep feeding Paul Lottman, the beast from Long Beach State 49ers.
Well, we've only seen one 5-setter here, and it was in match number 2 yesterday. And we're in match number 1, and we got our 5-setter.
Looks like we're in for another long day of high-quality volleyball here, Rob. Can't get enough of it.
I'm down with it. I know the voice can hold that long if we keep going 5-setters, but we'll come to a point where, you know, the teams are just, you know, when we start getting to the qualification rounds, you're going to see tighter and tighter competition. So it means it's only to get even more exciting. So yeah, we got good things coming.
I think this is the last round of pool play here. We're going to start moving into the playoffs after that, and it should get pretty exciting as we get closer and closer to that grand prize of $50,000.
$50K. Let's hope you don't go to the roulette table and put that all on black. Like certain players have done with their per diem.
You know what they say. You got to bet big in order to win big, Rob.
You can't win if you don't play.
Exactly.
Are we talking about gambling or volleyball right now? Oh, man, it is a good scene in here. You know, Team Blizzard coaching staff doing their thing. That's Coach John Shea and Vinny Pizzuti.
And more people starting to roll in through the Recreation Wellness Center here as this day goes on. If you're around, come stop by. Tickets are only $10. You can also do the VIP pass and get a chance to get a meet and greet and signatures from these elite players that are here this weekend.
Or you can just come by and say hi to Dalton and me.
Yeah, come hang out with us. Listen to us call the game.
And for all of you watching online, I'd like to thank you for hanging out with us here.
We got our guy Paul Munoz, our Data Volley star, giving us these updates on these stats. We got Paul Lottman, who's got 15 kills on 29 swings, hitting over 400. And both the middles here for Blizzard. Castellana hitting a solid 571, and Marty Ross hitting 545. Over for the Rising Tide, Newbold still effective on the offense with 22 kills on 37 attempts, hitting 486. We also got Mike Stewart and Bryce Ewell both hitting over, Mike Stewart hitting 875 and Bryce Ewell hitting 611. Matt Jones is being real effective. He's coming in and hitting at 429. Expect to see a lot more balls go to him on the outside.
How big is that Matt Jones substitution for Rising Tide right now, though?
Yeah, Brandon Directo came in and had a lot of fire for them in that second match yesterday. Was able to help them get that win, but what didn't seem to be as effective offensively this morning for the Rising Tide.
Also, Matt Jones ends up getting that big block for the set point to push his fifth set tiebreak.
That's right.
So it'll be the impact player.
Both teams so far in the
Vinny Devaney awaiting the ball for service to prepare our racing set to 15 here in our tiebreak.
Blizzard to receive.
Devaney 6-1 setter, the Gauchos. That's like Gaucho Elite over there on the far side with Colin Irons, Vinny Devaney, Bart Kowalski, Armin Zakarian, Lotman with the first swing, and that's like a guaranteed point right there. But, you know, the matchup, they've spun the dial, and Lotman's going up against Irons over there and Ewell. So Coach Vinny Devaney and Coach Daniel Davidson doing a little strategy. Irons up and over. Look at that.
That was an amazing swing.
Yeah, it was.
Not a lot of people are going to be able to touch that ball by Colin Irons right there.
Yeah, they had another jumper on their team. May have heard of him, Jeff Menzel.
Yeah, the leaper. That guy moves around like a puma. He's a very, very physical athlete.
I love that analogy, like a puma. Big serve, and the ball falls on the Blizzard side as it ricochets off of the beams here in the Student Wellness and Rec Center.
A miscommunication there from the Blizzard players, taking their eyes off the ball. The ceilings here in the Recreation and Wellness Center aren't very high, so you need to make sure you keep your eyes on it.
Jump serve goes wide, and we're tied at 2 apiece. Cole Fears going back to serve, the 6'5" setter. Played up at Stanford. Hand pass by Jones. Ewell going wrist away. Johannes Brink unable to save the ball going on a play.
Brink unable to control that ball. Ewell will go back to serve.
3 served in 2. Kind of an energy dip here in the 5th set. You'd think it'd be the opposite.
Yeah, I expect things to pick up here pretty soon because, I mean, someone needs to jump out in this lead here pretty early in order to get this 5th set to win this match.
There you go, John Zappia with a little jump and thump in the middle.
Able to put it down. Sending Paul Lotman back to the line. Tied up 3.
Zappia on this play.
He's able to get up nice and early. If you watch Bryce Ewell here, falling back on his heels. We didn't teach him that at Long Beach State, that's for sure.
The heel D. That doesn't sound good. Big serve by Lotman again. High ball. Look at that. Money ball. Rejected by Johannes Brink.
Paul Lotman just unloading from the service line.
We know he's got that, but I was like looking at Johannes Brink's SWAT patrol out there. 4 serving to 3. Lotman, the 6'6" outside hitter from Lakewood, California. Lives now in the LBC, I believe. And has a little one with his wife. So he's glad to be in the States. Can you imagine having a pro league and being able to stay around with your family?
Oh, man, that just makes things a lot easier, especially for these older guys that are starting families and have other jobs. It just gives them a chance to keep playing the sport that they love at a very high level.
Fears outside to Irvin. Look at that dig by Iron, set by Jones. Devaney with a swing, his first of the entire tournament. Brink rolls it, dug by Irons. Devaney high out to Jones. Jones inside the block of Zappia.
Scramble play and Matt Jones able to put it
5 serving 4. Colin Irons.
Full swing
Yeah.
against Devaney.
Oh, I hope they show the replay of Vinny Devaney's swing. That's real heat right there.
Hold the phone. He's got a cannon.
That's right. Always got to give love to the setters. Unsung heroes. 5 serving of 4. Irons on the jump serve. Hurwitz. Tough pass to the net. Off the block is Brink. Armin Zakarian making a move, but unable to get distance over there. That's a hard hit ball. He was definitely looking all hands on that one. So if you have an attacker who you know is going to be looking for hands, what do you do as a blocker?
Well, that's why it's important to penetrate low and over across the net. You see a lot of guys here reaching up too high. Exhibit A right there, Marty Ross, and then the ball ends up getting hit under their arms and through the net. So that's why low penetration is key when we're blocking.
Good call by Dalton Arrowman. Hurwitz with a good pass to Fierce, right side. Bad set though, ironically. It's almost, it was set too outside the pin.
Brink looking like he was looking for hands, but Newell making a smart move and not putting his hands up on that play.
7 serving of 5. Rising Tide making a move right here. Lotman with the pass. Fears on his knees to set out to Irvin. As Zakarian just ducks out of the way like dodgeball. Dodge, duck, dive, and
dip, duck, dive,
I can never remember. We'll Google it and get back to you guys online. 8 serving of 5 as the teams switch side here in set number 5. Rising Tide up 8-5. Matt Jones going back to serve.
That's right, all the momentum on Rising Tide's side of the court right now. They need to side out and try and get Paul Lotman back to the front row so they can get to their go-to guy on the offense.
We have a timeout taken by Blizzard, now down 8-5. What are you telling your team if you're Coach John Shea of Blizzard?
Oh, you know, you just need to settle down, get a pass, and try and get back into rhythm. And we also need to see a little more offensive production from someone besides Paul Lotman right now because they're having a tough time executing without him in the front row right now.
8-5 here, and Rising Tide with the addition of Brandon Directo and Isaac Newell. Obviously a big impact because they were playing well yesterday, but they were lacking a little punch at one position, and apparently that one position was at the OH 1 or 2 position because Matt Jones was playing well yesterday, but they need an additional cannon. That's
right. Newell has just been a very offensive force for the Rising Tide today. Still hitting over 400.
So you're watching the NVA Pro Volleyball Showcase. We're day number 2, match number 5 for us here in Center Court or Premier Courts. The Ivy League service coming from Matt Jones. That's right, Harvard and the EIVA being represented here. Standing float serve to Hurwitz. Right side to Johannes Brink. Jones made the dive. Armin Zakarian just saw a flash of light go by. That's look at this ball right here by Brink. That's a great camera angle.
That is just, I mean, almost a foot over the top of Newell. He doesn't really know what else he can do there.
Float serve, not a good way to keep you in the game, though. That goes out of play.
It's real important, especially in these, as it gets later in these fifth sets, that you keep that serve in. Give yourself a 50% chance more to score a point just by putting the ball in the court and forcing the other team to deal with it.
Stewart with a float serve down the line, passed by Hurwitz. That ball is set outside the antenna and tipped off the antenna. Point Rising Tide.
You know what I think? I think Vinny Devaney actually might have swiped it with his hand, swiped the antenna with his hand to make it look.
Maybe we can
like
get him to do a replay.
Antenna,
Let's see the replay. No replay. Oh no. There's Taylor Crabb. He knows what happens. Rylan McKibben.
Just a veteran move there by Devaney. If what I think is right, Irvin is very frustrated by the call.
Yeah, Paul Lotman stepping up. He's usually the quiet warrior kind of guy, but when he starts raising his voice, he's not exactly happy.
Very nice guy all around, but don't let that deceive you. He is a fierce competitor.
Someone's going to get card here. At other levels, this would have been a card already, don't you think? Oh, even the Rising Tide bitches. How much longer? I love the two sides of every issue here. I mean, we got to mic everyone up. I mean,
that would make the NBA a little more attractive, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah. We're claiming it right here. Dalton and I.
As if it isn't already enough, but miking up these players, I'm not sure if all the fans want to hear what's going through these guys' heads.
Oh, you get several quotables. They'd be like Wednesday wisdom every day. Monday motivational quotes. Matt Jones serving. Float serve down the line to Hurwitz. Fierce sets outside of Irvin. Irvin, look at that. I'm gonna call out the big man. Vinny Devaney with a solo stop.
That's right, looking like Riley McKibben out there, getting low and over, showing that height doesn't matter when you're blocking.
And when you always have trouble, always call my cousin Vinny. Big block to make it 11-6 for Rising Tide. You know, as far as I'm concerned, Vinny Devaney is a player of the match for me.
Oh, I mean, without a doubt. Either that or Newble has been highly effective out there on the left side. That call that they made right there was a huge momentum changer for Blizzard. It's going to be interesting to see if they can climb their way back into this match.
Yeah, we've got some good action here. Look at that. In the timeout of Rising Tide, they're fired up. You know, it's even in watching play like some of the best matches, what gets people fired up is when your setter goes out and gets a big block.
That's
right. Know? Remember, in the 2008 National Championship match, Luke Murray, they listed him at 5 or 6 foot for Penn State. He was setting Matt Anderson, but he got 11 blocks in the National Championship match.
Yeah, short guy, but he got up.
Right side attacked by Johannes Brink. Off the block down to play. Isaac Newble looking back at us. He knew he had him, but he just couldn't get high enough.
That was a pretty solid touch by the block there, slowing him down. I'm surprised that the Rising Tide defense wasn't able to play that ball up.
11 serving to 7. Stephen Irvin going back to serve. Service into the net for a point, Rising Tide. That's 2 service errors here in the 5th set for Rising Tide.
Vinny Devaney back serve, Rising Tide.
Vinny Devaney, all-star from UC Santa Barbara. Yeah, I'm going to pick, my setter's always my favorite guys here. Devaney floats it cross court. Hand pass by Lotman. Back out to Lotman. Little stutter step there. The again, there's that setter hitter tempo issue going on there.
That's right. Paul Lotman, being the veteran, though, is still able to get the kill.
Well, we saw the softer side of Paul Lotman on that one. It was a tip by the block and make it 8-12. Ewald steps in, shows his passing game. Isaac Newble with a little rock and roll. Aloha style, of course. 13 serving 8.
What a set. What a kill by Newble. Who go back serve? 13-8.
13 serving 8. Rising Tide serving to Blizzard. Hand pass by Irvin, set out to Lotman. And that's a little slap down. It's like Cullen who? Yeah, Cullen Irons was out there, but somehow Lotman's still able to get it down the line, and it looked like Irons was taking line. Here we see in the replay.
For the first time in a while, Fears has actually has some tempo on that set, so I feel like that was a little bit more in Lotman's wheelhouse.
Yeah. Newble with a hand pass, back set to Irons off the block. And we have match point Rising Tide.
We'll give Rising
Serving to 9.
Match points. 14-9 substitution for the Tide.
Substitution, Brandon Directo in to serve for Bryce Ewald here in our 5th set tie break. Gets the whistle, and we're ready to go. See if he gets us on the serve. Big serve. Hurwitz with a good pass outside to Brink. Blocked at the net by Cullen Irons. And look at that. Rising Tide comes back, being down 2-1 to take the 5th and the match. 25-20, 23-25, 24-26, 26-21, or 26-24, and 15-9. Dalton, what'd you think of our match here?
Well, it started off pretty slow, but I mean, at the end, we got both teams hitting just over 400, which is, I mean, it's just a high-quality offensive match for both squads. But in the end, the Rising Tide just able to pull through and be a little bit more efficient in that fifth set.
Well, you know, that addition of Isaac Newble and Brandon Directo, how big of an impact did that make?
That definitely brings up the level of this squad, and I'm looking forward to see them play later on in this tournament. I think they could make some noise.
Oh, they've definitely made noise because the Blizzard team was a favorite.
For sure.
I believe they were the #1 seed in the pool, if I remember the original seedings.
Well, the good thing is I think everyone makes it out of pool play here in this showcase, so everyone's going to still have a fighting chance after today.
Will they go into a quarterfinal match with potentially Team Pineapple?
Which is not the team that you want to see in your quarterfinal match, but in the end, you're going to have to beat everyone, right?
Mean Green, Team Pineapple. Great work by this Rising Tide team defeating Blizzard. It looks like we're going to be going over to an interview in just a few moments of our player of the match. We'll find out who that is. We don't want to let the cat out of the bag, so to speak. But we saw some excellent play here. And let's go over to Mark Matrakos, our player of the match.
All right, guys, we're here with the NVA. Just came off a game with Blizzard and Rising Tide. We got Isaac Newble here, our MVP of the match. Isaac, congratulations, man. Congrats, Isaac. So tell me a little bit about what was going through your head that match. Long 5-set game there, battling it out. Tell me what's going on.
Well, you know, you have to be able to pass. If you can't pass, you're not going to win. So us and the two other passers make sure we hold it down, and then we can run a decent offense. So that's kind of what was going through our head the whole time. Just keep the passing solid. Everything else will roll after that.
Awesome. Well, you were the offensive leader of the team, coming out with 24 kills at the end of the game. I mean, surprising, but I mean, did you think you were doing that well as you were going on, or what was going on?
I don't keep a tally. I just play point by point, and I just try to forget about everything else, because if you live in the past, you're not going to be really great in the future, so just keep it solid.
So it looked great actually watching you and Paul Lottman actually going point for point against each other. Was that kind of fun going into this match, saying like, hey, I get to go against this guy?
Well, I mean, I've played against Paul for years in college and a little bit on the national team. So it was just it was a familiar battle. So it was a nice one. It was a little good.
Awesome. Well, you guys have one more match today. You guys looking forward to that? Any changes that need to be made for the upcoming match?
I need to get a little more consistent with my serves. But other than that, no, we pay attention to our side, keep passing, we'll be all right.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot, Isaac. Appreciate it. Congratulations, and good luck for your next game. See you guys later.
Thanks a lot, Mark. And we had some good stuff from Isaac Newble. Yeah, 24 kills with a 61% hitting efficiency, while also only passing 95% efficiency. You know, talk about an all-star. That was definitely the pick for player of the match for sure. Thoughts, Dalton?
Yeah, I mean, just hitting at 61% is unreal on the outside, and just shows you how effective Newble really was out there today. We also had Bryce Ewald, who was also hitting at 60% and scoring 13 points for the Rising Tide team. Then for the Blizzard squad, Paul Lottman stepping up late in the match and carrying them through to battle through that fifth set match with 20 points and also hitting at a high percentage of 56%. And Johannes Brink also hitting at 61% with 25 points in the match. Just an overall high-quality match there and high-level match. And that's only the first one of today. We still have 3 more.
I know. Thank goodness ain't best of 7 today, because of what the teams are playing. We'd be playing all 7.
Might not ever get out of here today, Rob.
Well, it looks like we're going to be getting ready for our next matchup here at, I believe it will be at 12 p.m. Be sure to stick around. It will be Academy United taking on Team LVC. That's Legion Volleyball Club. So we've got approximately 40 minutes. Be sure to come back online. I'm Rob Sparrow. Dalton, any closing thoughts?
No, I just can't wait for this next match and keep watching this high-level volleyball. I'm excited.
Good enough. I'm Rob Sparrow for Dalton Narman, and we are out. Remember, what's the hashtag?
Let action define you.
All right, we'll see you guys in a little bit.